Everyone suffers. In December 2016, then United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said, "The risk of these mass atrocities, which include recurring episodes of ethnic cleansing, escalating into possible genocide, is all too real." In a letter seen by Reuters news agency and sent by a former government Army general, Thomas Carrillo Swaka, he described the military raping and killing civilians and a network of secret prisons where torture is endemic. This is a picture of Beatrice Yamani and her son outside their hut in Egi, the village bordering the Adjumani settlement. According to Swaka, the government has systematically transformed the SPLA into a tribal army, while terrorizing their opponents, real or perceived, has become a preoccupation of the government. The former general describes how the government has used decrees to depopulate oil-rich regions, some of which are newer tribal heartlands. The military, police, and other security branches systematically recruit and post Dinkas to support a policy of land occupation, he wrote. Some point out that it is not only members of newer tribe who are suffering from government violence. The politicians talk about Dinkas and Nuers, but I only see South Sudanese being killed, says Simon Marshik, a member of the Dinka tribe and one of 160,000 inhabitants of the 3-year-old Ajumani settlement. Everyone complains about the government army, including the Dinkas. South Sudanese are suffering under President Kiir's rule, says Marchik. While the South Sudanese government has not responded to Al Jazeera's request for comment, Ateni Wek Ateni, a spokesman for the presidency, told the South Sudanese newspaper the Sudan Tribune that reports of genocide and violations of human rights are merely an attempt to garner international sympathy for sanctions and embargoes on the country. This is a picture. Upon arrival in Uganda, aid agency offer vaccinations to children. Here a child in a Foji town cries before, during, and after her injection. The victims say they have no means of reporting the assaults, murders, and rapes by the government forces. There is no justice, says Edina Ataya, back at her Babidi settlement. She scans the settlement when asked of what the future holds. My children might have a future, but I do not have one. I do not know how long I will be on this earth. Not for long, I think. The Dinah is in pain when she eats. The beatings she received while being gang raped have given her chronic kidney problems and an ulcer. As long as the killings continue in South Sudan, Edina does not want to return. She would rather live here, in a temporary structure, with the stench of urine, feces, and sweat, among hundreds of thousands of compatriots, she says. At least here, there are no sounds of gunshots at night. Here are some pictures. In theory, 30 square meter plots of land should be allocated in the settlements, but in reality, the huts are built in close proximity. Plastic, an abundant material in the settlements, is used to make toys. Footballs are created by stringing together plastic bags. Kapenta fish are sold in Babidi Settlement's market. For most South Sudanese, this small fish is the staple of their meals. The Babidi settlement, seen from the top of a hill, children in the Ajimani settlement entertain themselves playing football. Two boys from the Dinka tribe walk arm in arm in the Ajimani settlement. A woman in the Babidi settlement. Many of the refugees are fleeing for the second or third time in their lives. Simone Marshiak in the Adjumani settlement. This is the 7th time Simone has fled his home in South Sudan. Rose Tamaka shops for tomatoes and fish at the market in Babidi settlement. A road outside the Babidi settlement. A truck is loaded with refugees in a Foji town before being driven out to settlements. 54-year-old Moses Nyaya. Residents line up their jerry cans, filling up in turn until there's no more water. Emmanuel Malise is constantly tired. At night, he is haunted by nightmares, the sounds of gunshots making up the soundtrack. Bloated stomachs in the camp are a symptom of malnutrition. Children carrying water and food from the aid centers at the bottom of the hill.